She never worked in my Toledo theater with Levine.
As for cracks Laverne make, it is as this Percy says. Cracks, period. The cracks she make to her were enough to start a fight.
Yeah? Well, I was mad enough to take a poke at her. And I'm mad now.
You took a poke with a nail file, our report shows.
Well, I grabbed at anything I could lay my hands on.
That sounds natural. But a nail file, that could be used to kill a person, couldn't it?
Sure.
And if the weapon was murderous, the attack might be considered murderous, mightn't it?
Wait a minute. You're running words around me like a brush fire.
Not words, Miss Baxter. Facts. I'm not responsible for the facts. Mr. Rogers was responsible for the quarrel because of his interest in Miss Laverne.
We hope to produce a play I obtained on a legitimate stage. Our interest was purely professional.
Miss Laverne threw a bottle at Mr. Wong earlier in the evening. You resented that.
I was mad. I was plenty mad.
Bringing on a quarrel between Miss Laverne and Miss Daisy.
Which had been coming on for a long time. Put that in, too.
She said Laverne should be put out of her misery like a mad dog.
Is that true, Miss Daisy?
Yeah, well, it was a figure of speech.
An unfortunate one, seeing it was acted on so suddenly.
Now I have something to say.
Yes?
We are all in the room after the body is found. I am next to her. Suddenly, she notices something on her finger. She turns away to wipe it off. It is red.
Like the wax on the door, perhaps.
I thought we'd get to that. Since you started this reunion, you've made one charge after another. You know it was my print on that wax when I walked into this room, which you've been saving a little bombshell for the last spot in the bill. If I really had changed the wax, do you think I'm dumb enough to leave my print in the middle of it?
Murderers are caught by mistakes, Miss Daisy.
I was in the dressing room, I saw the wax, I was curious, and I touched it.
Why did you later furtively wipe it off?
I wiped it off, but not furtively.
You turned away from me.
I turn away from garbage dumps, too.
One more thing. The wax that was used to reseal the door has been identified as coming from the box given to you by Mr. Wong.
I gave it to Lolita.
You knew about it?
Everybody who was in the room knew about it.
I thought you were regular. I didn't think you'd try to pull the blame on us.
I wasn't trying to...
Laverne hated each other's insides.
Her remarks have shown that.
There are plenty of people I don't like. You, for one. But I don't go around killing them.
I didn't say you did. I merely said that you hated the Laverne girl. That you were the only person admittedly in the dressing room during the time the murder occurred. That the wax used to reseal the door came from a box given to you. That your fingerprint was on the wax. That you tried to take that wax from your finger without being noticed.
Stop it! Dixie. Why, you two-faced snooper?
Wait a minute. Inspector, there is some mistake.
Inspector, there's a big mistake.
Mr. Brannigan?
You can't think this girl did that murder. Why, look at her. Sitting there, so beautiful and defenseless. Why, only last week she came to this theater and made more friends than a whole litter of kittens. Why, she couldn't any more...
Miss Daisy is very beautiful, but she doesn't strike me as being either fragile or ethereal.
Yeah? Well, furthermore, that woman wasn't out of my sight all evening.
That's a silly lie. She just said she was alone in the dressing room.
Well, while we're talking about lies, why don't you give yourself top billing? You forgot to mention that you told us guys this afternoon that you'd kill Lolita if she kept running around with that Louis.
Well, perhaps I felt like killing her. But I loved her. I wanted to marry her. I loved her too much to kill her.
Is there something you wanted to tell me, Miss Baxter?
No.
Didn't you want to tell me it's impossible for Russell Rogers to marry Lolita Laverne?
No.
Impossible because he's already married? Married to you? You're surprised that I know this. 2 years ago, when you were booked during a raid, may interest you to know your record was collected.
We didn't want to make it known because we knew that Foss didn't hire married couples. When I saw her making a play for him, I wanted to tell, but he wouldn't let me. He told me he loved her and he never loved me.
Yeah, and why did you tell me? She wasn't crying the night she threatened to kill Laverne and me. Look at this. Those marks. She did that a week ago. The night I threatened to leave her.
That isn't true. It's all lies.
How long did you have to practice to make like such a heel?
Pick on a girl. Please. This is the coroner's preliminary report. Lolita Laverne was poisoned. She would have died in 3 minutes if the strangler had not interfered. In other words, the murderer was so impatient he couldn't wait for his poison to take effect. Or there are two murderers in the old opera house. This is my first experience with burlesque. It's a surprising profession. You will all remain within reaching distance until the case is settled.
Poisoned.
If we can just get out of here, I don't care what happens.
Baby! I thought there was to be a party tonight. Are we not to have it?
That's what I like. The sensitive type.
This is one cookie that's not going back to that room till she's had a bracer.
Not me either. I want to fix it.